We will call to order the Board of the School Trustees meeting for January 8th, 2026. We thank you for being here. It's nice to see 4 people in the crowd. Love that. We will begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will now have a moment of silence. Thank you. Dr. Hall, do we have any adjustments to the agenda, sir?
There are no adjustments tonight, but I think you may need to turn your microphone.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, no adjustments. Okay, 1.4, core purpose, core goal, core values. Our core purpose is success for all students. The core goal is at least 9% of students pass language arts and English, as well as mathematics assessments on the state test. Character. We will continue to be an institution guided by ethical strength. With students, we will continue to put students first in our priorities and our decision-making. Service will continue to be an organization known for its servant spirit. And stewardship, we will continue to embody the qualities of stewardship. 1.5, comment from patrons. We did not have anybody sign up for the sign up to speak about agenda items. 2.1, election of officers. Our school board attorney will be conducting our election this evening.
Hello. Pursuant to Indiana Code and as part of this board meeting tonight, the reorganization is to elect officers for the 2026 calendar year. To start us off, I will entertain a motion for president.
Go ahead. I'd like to make a motion for Mark Thompson to be the school board president.
Hearing a motion, do we have a second for president? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Congratulations, Mr. President. Moving on, do we have a motion for vice president?
I nominate Buck Evans to be vice president of the board.
Thank you. Hearing a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I guess I didn't ask earlier. Anybody opposed to president? Sorry. Anybody opposed for vice president? All right. Congratulations. Moving to secretary, do I have a motion for secretary?
I'll make a motion for Kevin.
Hearing a motion.
Second.
Second. Okay. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations. Moving to assistant secretary, do I have a motion for assistant secretary?
Nominate Bill Hutton.
Okay. Motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I missed that one. Who was that? Did we get that right?
That was Kevin.
Perfect. Okay, thanks, Kevin.
Sure.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, congratulations. Thank you, guys.
Okay. President Thompson, come on over. You get the gavel now, sir. Stay where I am? All right.
Next thing on the, on the agenda is 2.2 for times and dates of meetings. Dr. Hall, I think you sent something out to all of us. Did everybody receive that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept that?
So moved.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded then that we adopt what Dr. Hall sent to all of us, and I'll call the question. Penny?
Anna Blake,
Yes.
Buck Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Ginder,
Yes.
Mike Hanna,
Yes.
Bill Hutton,
Yes.
John Lord,
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes. Moving on to 2.3, under board compensation, do we have a motion from anyone?
Yes, I'd like to make the motion that the board compensation for 2026 remain the same as it was for 2025.
I'll second that.
Okay. been moved and seconded that the compensation remain the same as it was for last year. Any discussion on that? Call the question then.
Donna Blake,
Yes.
Buck Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Gender,
Yes.
Mike Hannah,
Yes.
Bill Hutton,
Yes.
John Lord,
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes. Next on the agenda, 2.4 under appointments. We have our committees. Dr. Hall, do you want to talk any about the committees? Because I know this year, we kind of ran into a snag on the fall committee meetings.
Yes, so I'll just start with the whole list, so just to explain those, and then we'll talk. So at the beginning, what the board needs to do is they need to make there are some appointments that you really don't have much choice in. So like your school corporation treasurer, in the past, you've appointed Penny, who's our treasurer, and then we have an assistant treasurer. We have a delegate to the ISBA convention, which in the past has been the board president. And then you have a legislative designee, you have a policy liaison, and then you have an athletic council representative. So that one's not so much set in stone. Really, those all aren't, except for the treasurer and your assistant treasurer. So, and then you've got some vocational committee advisory meetings that we're working on. We're working on reworking those to make them more beneficial for you to attend. And so we're required to have, in the past, because we received Perkins money, federal vocational money, we had to have those meetings. Some of those restrictions have been reduced, so we don't have to have as many meetings. But if you remember, last year, I asked if you wanted to continue to have those meetings and attend those, and I think it was the pleasure of the board that you did. So what we're doing is we're reworking what those committees look like and what the function and who's on them. And so our vocational teachers have been receiving training this fall from our service center, Education Service Center, and trying to rework those meetings so they're a better use of your time than just going and sitting and listening. So we're still going to have those meetings, and the plan will be, the reason why we didn't have any in the spring is because they were work in progress, and then we're going to restart those meetings up here, in the fall. We're gonna restart those meetings here in the spring. So we have those vocational meetings. You have an alternative school program, which is not necessarily a vocational committee, but it oversees our vocational programs. You've got the area vocational, which is a general meeting for all the vocational programs, and then you have a WEAM meeting, a STEM meeting, technology committee, vocational advisory, vocational business, family consumer science. You have a security and safety meeting, which actually Ryan Jones is really excited about whoever we get picked on that, because he was asking us to set the date today. I told him we had to make sure we got the committee set. And then he actually called me, and I didn't call him back, so then he called Mr. Kruger, which is generally what happens if I don't call him back instantly. And then, and then we also have a representative to the Hamilton Boone Madison Special Services Cooperative Board. And because of the agreement we have with that has to be me. So because that board is made up of all superintendents. So I would love to delegate that, believe me, but that's the way that agreement is. And then you've got two civic boards. You have the redevelopment commission, and you have for Pendleton, and then you have one for the town of Ingles as well. So.
Okay. How about going through those one at a time and let us go see who wants to be on some of these things?
Is there anybody that wants to change anything?
Well, I would like to put John Lord on as who's going to go down the ISBA thing.
Well, we can go, if you want, I can go through them, or Penny can go through them. How have we done it in the past?
Usually the board president.
Or I can just read them and then you guys.
I don't
can-
have a list of
Oh,
them.
I
Okay.
apologize.
Yeah,
I apologize.
No problem.
On your email.
Should be there.
It's on your
That's fine.
email.
It's on your email.
You gonna do it?
I'm not sure.
That's called
Okay.
maps.
I believe we should do it like we've done in the past, just read the committee, and then let somebody volunteer for that if they want it.
Okay.
Ask the person who has it now first if they want to keep it. If they don't, then ask for
So
volunteers to
you
take
just
the
want me to
place.
go through them then?
Well,
Would that be,
I think 1 through 5 we've probably taken care of.
or you still have to do it?
Still have to
Okay.
go.
We still,
Yeah.
you guys still have to take a motion, so.
Okay.
Somebody would need to make a recommendation for school corporation treasurer. Sure.
And
Then
then we
there'll
have
be
to
a
vote?
second, then you gotta vote.
Okay, so I make a motion, school corporation treasurer to be Penny Myers.
Second.
And in the past, we voted that at the end,
Oh, at
after
the end.
all of them.
Like 1 through 6.
Okay.
Yes.
So number one, school corporation treasurer, I make a motion to be Penny Myers.
Second.
Okay.
I move that the assistant treasurer be Connie Jones.
We probably have to go ahead and vote on that, don't we?
We'll hit that.
No,
at the
vote.
end.
We're gonna vote at the end. of
Okay,
all
at the
of
end of
them.
all
Is that
6,
is that what
okay.
you want? Connie Jones?
No,
I think they would like that to be Paula.
Paula
If
Keller.
that, if that doesn't,
No.
if that's the pleasure of the board.
That's fine.
Okay. I know that's out of tradition. but
Okay. So number three then?
Number 3, the delegate to
ISBA.
ISBA convention, John Lord.
Second.
Number 4, liaison designate,
Yeah. You go
John.
down. Yeah.
and the policy liaison,
Yep.
same with John.
Yes.
And then the athletic council representative.
That was a job that I had.
You
If somebody
wanna
else,
be-
if somebody else want it, I will take it again, but if somebody else would like to have it,
I would like to have it
it's all yours.
if,
I make a motion, Mark Thompson for athletic council representative.
I'll second.
Okay, before you vote, can I just explain Connie Jones, the reason we made the change is because she's gonna retire in February.
Oh,
And
okay.
so that's why we're trying to make that a seamless transition. So
Sounds good to me.
I should have said something to you before that. So.
so now you want to vote on these?
Yes. so
Okay, there's been a
I need a-
motion and seconded, take 1 through 6 with the names that were given. Call for the question, Penny.
Anna Blake? Yes. Buck Evans?
Yes.
Kevin Ginder?
Yes.
Mike Hannah?
Yes.
Bill Hutton?
Yes.
John Lord?
Yes.
Mark Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, we can do the same thing with 1 through 10.
Okay, on 1 through 10, the alternative school program.
I would like to have.
Okay, Kevin Ginder. Area vocational.
I had it last time, and I'm happy to keep it unless somebody is just dying to have it. Okay,
Anna Blake.
I'll wait for it.
Weem.
I'd like to keep it.
Okay, Bill Hutton. STEM.
You had it.
that's you.
Do you still want it?
No.
I'll take it.
Okay, John Lord.
I'll take
Technology. I had technology last time, and
I'll take it.
Bill Hutton. Vocational agriculture.
If somebody else wants it, feel free to speak up.
Buck Evans.
All right.
Vocational business education.
I'll take that.
Kevin Ginder. Vocational family and consumer life sciences.
I'll keep that again unless somebody else.
Anna.
Okay.
Security and safety, I would like to be on that again.
I'm happy to join you on that one again also.
Okay. Representative to the Hamilton Boone, Dr. Hall.
Right. So
So,
we
we,
need to vote on those 10?
yeah,
Right.
we need to vote on those 10. It's been moved and seconded, and call for the question.
Anna Blake?
Yes.
Buck Evans?
Yes.
Kevin Ginder?
Yes.
Mike Hannah?
Yes.
Bill Hutton?
Yes.
John Lord?
Yes.
Mark Thompson?
Yes. Moving on to board representatives to civic, excuse me, civic boards. Pendleton Redevelopment Commission, I would nominate Mike Hannah.
I'll do that.
And
I'd like to have Randy.
number 2, Ingalls Redevelopment Commission, John Lord. Any discussion on any of that? Okay, moved, seconded,
Okay.
call for the question.
Anna Blake?
Yes.
Buck Evans?
Yes.
Kevin Ginder?
Yes.
Mike Hannah?
Yes.
Bill Hutton?
Yes.
Excuse me, John Lord?
Yes.
Mark Thompson?
Yes. I think that finishes up with that, unless you have something else, Dr. Hall.
That's it. We're ready to
Okay.
move on to 3.1.
Okay, 3.1, demographic study. Dr. McKibben.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, Dr. Hall. Do a 10-year population enrollment forecast for the district and its attendance areas. I present the results to you tonight. 2 things I want to go over very quickly before I get into the results. One, these are forecasts, not projections. Projections where you take a variable, usually year-to-year survivorship, in enrollment, second to third, third to fourth, over about a 5-year period, create an algorithm and project in the future. Quick, easy, cheap. And until about the mid-1990s, all you had in the way of enrollment research. Problem with the projection is it's almost never right, because the only way a projection can be correct is what's happened the last 5 years replicates itself over the next 5 or 10. I don't know about anybody here. I don't see the last 5 years again in my lifetime. These are forecasts. We do a full population forecast for each one of the attendance areas. 0 to 4, 85 plus, male and female. Build models specific to those 3 areas based on their demographic characteristics. Start with a census base, add in home sales, home construction, migration rates, birth, age structure, anything we lay our hands on to build these models. And the results of that pop forecast drives the enrollment forecast. So it's your current and future demographic dynamics and characteristics that are going to drive your enrollment trends, not your past enrollment. Anytime that you're doing a forecast, come back here, you have to have assumptions. These are broad socioeconomic demographic parameters that you use in building your models. And I don't want to go through all 20 of them here, but I want to go through the big 4. These are the 4 that have the highest probability of variance or error in it. And number 1 is B. We assume that the 30-year fixed mortgage rate will stay between 5 and 7% over the life of the forecast. This morning it was 6.25, all right? Coming down a little bit. Why is it so important? It drives your housing market, both new and existing home sales. There's probably going to be a cut in rates this year. I'm sure when Jerome Powell's gone, the first thing they're going to do is drop interest rates by a point. This probably going to get down close to 5, but I don't think it's going to go any lower than that. Unless the economy goes south, it might pop back up to 7, but I think this is a very safe range to be in for the next 10 years. There's a generational problem here, though, too. To those of us who are old enough to remember the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, 30-year fixed rate was 8, 10, 12%. 6.25 sounds pretty good. Most people in the age of 40 who have seen nothing but 3, 3.5, and 4% for most of the last decade, 6.25 sounds like highway robbery. In 2 years, mortgage rates have doubled in this country. We've never seen that before in our history, where it's actually doubled in a 2-year period. So, but we think this 5 to 7 range is pretty safe. And I'll be the first to tell you, if it goes above 7% again, I'm probably going to be too high, because it's going to really adversely affect your housing market. Okay. The second one I want to go over is I. This is the state of Indiana. Indiana is the only state in the country that has interdistrict transfers, vouchers, charters, virtual, all going on at the same time. Okay? You can't look at it. And the only good thing to come out of this is the state of Indiana has the best student tracking system in the country. And we have to assume that. Now, we assume that you're going to have a net positive 130 students for transfer. That's public to public and public to private. Now, we just got the fall 25 numbers came in, what was it, about 3 weeks ago, and you're at plus 47 for this year. It's down from plus 28 last year. So it's a little bit of a difference. Almost every school district in the state saw that trend. Most school districts, by the way, have a negative number. Your neighbors to the west here, Hamilton Southeast, their number is negative 2,200. So I was in Westfield last night. Their number is negative 700. You know, so the fact that yours is positive, you're in pretty good shape. We think that will continue. You've consistently drawn about 600 odd district kids coming in. That's been going on for 5, 6, 7 years now. However, your transfers out have creeped up to close to 400. And when they expanded the voucher law, which now I think pretty much every household with kids in the state qualify for it, everybody saw a jump in that. So that drove everybody's net number down. We think around 100 is a pretty safe number on here. But again, I have no idea what the legislature's gonna do on education the next 5 years, and no one's anybody else. You know, there's just, who knows what they'll come up with. But if the laws stay the same right now, that's where you're gonna be. And the other two important ones are Q and R. On R, we assume the district will add 50 new housing units. That includes apartments. Now, over the last decade, you went up about 35 a year. You've been doing a little better last part of the decade and since 2020. 50 is a pretty safe number. I don't have any doubt that you'll probably make that as an average. But the 480 existing homes, that's the one I'm worried about. And you'll notice there, this district, just like every other district in the country, pretty much, existing home sales makes up over 80% of your housing market. Everybody focuses on new home construction. You could build 300 homes a year out here, a year. If you don't sell any existing homes, your enrollment will drop. You need existing home sales, and that's tied to the age structure of the population. We use Zillow, Realty Track, and Realtor.com, gives information right down to the address level. We've got like 5 years worth of data on the district. And most people with kids, when they move between April and August. That's the prime home buying season. You're gonna need, so if you look on like Zillow or something like that, in the end of April, you better see about 125 to 150 homes on the market. If not, that's a problem. We've seen a significant slowdown in existing home sales, and it's not so much interest rate, it's availability, okay? Because home prices are so high. It is much, much easier to drop interest rates than it is to convince people to drop the price of their house, because they're all convinced it's worth X number of dollars. Well, it's, as my dad would say, it's only worth that much if someone will pay you that. And they're discovering, particularly in the last 6 to 8 months, people aren't going to pay that price anymore. We've seen a little comeback in home prices in a few areas, but not that much to really draw the needle. But I think that 480 number is probably the key one that you need to look at. Now, the number one predictive variable for population enrollment growth is not births, it's not home building, it's not home sales, it's your age structure of your population. How is it distributed across the life course? Now, so I always like doing South Madison, because you guys are one of the more demographically interesting districts because you have a large group quarter population, okay? We have to pull that out. Sidebar on that, when I was pulled up the numbers, looked at 2010, 2020 going, God, they had a lot of growth. They had a lot of building out there. I can't believe they only grew like 50 people. That's what the census said. So I, did some more digging in there. Well, the group quarters population dropped by about 300, so it masked your growth. That's why we want to pull the group quarters populations out. And I can't go stand there. I have to stand here, right?
No, you can.
I can stand here? Okay. Easy to read. That's your preschool, elementary, middle, high school. 20 to 34 are family formation ages. 80% of all births occurred when between the ages of 20 and 34 years old. You could have a total fertility rate of 9. If you don't have women in childbearing age, you're not going to have any births, okay? 35, 54, these are the ages where people have kids in school, okay? So we had more parents out here, they'd all be between 35 and 54. 55 and 69 were referred to as the empty nest households. And this is where it gets confusing for people. The Smith family been down the road for 20 years. 10 years ago, there was mom, dad, and 2 kids in there. But the kids have now grown up, graduated high school, moved away, and they're gone. Same house, same home owner, but instead of 4 people per household, you only have 2. Virtually every school district in the country, I'd say 95% of them, saw a drop in household size. And the reason for that was the increase in empty nesting. 70 and older, we call the turnover ages. All right? That's where you start, people sell their house, a new young family moves in, a house building that you haven't seen kids come out of for, 30 years, yes, I've seen kids. I use my dad's house up in Allen County as an example. We used to send 4 kids to the local school system. Hasn't been a school-age kid come out there since 1976, and won't until my dad sells the house and moves away. Okay. Now, you'll notice 2 things here. This deficit in the 20s, virtually every suburban school district in the country has this hourglass shape. Why? Because you don't come out of college and buy a house, you're in an apartment, or the apartment's the year before. You start your families there. No one wants to raise their kid in an apartment to get the economic resources, they move out to the home in the suburbs. But because there's so few people in the 20s, you see this, we call the birth deficit here. And for suburban school districts, that's the key variable, okay? Because when you see households move in, and you had a lot of them move in over the last decade, you want to add what you already have. The cohorts coming in behind are smaller. You would need about 500 kids moving in, preschoolers in the next 5 years, just to break even, okay? And you did. Now that's 2010, and you can see what's coming, okay? All these households here, all these people had kids in school, they were gonna be up in their 50s in the next pyramid, and they were empty nesting, and that was one of your dominant trends. So here is 2020, lo and behold, what happened? They're still here in their 20s. You still have 3 people in their 20s, and you still have a deficit here. Even with all that growth you had people moving in, bringing in preschoolers and school-age kids, you still have a preschool deficit, okay? Without in-migration, your enrollment drops, okay? Now, we have pyramids here for each one of the elementaries, and you'll see they pretty closely tie to what the district trend is. And again, we take the group quarter population out in each one of them. Pendleton, of course, being the dominant one with the population, but it's aging. So there's the positive factors of the in-migration and the home sales, but there's also the negative factors. Your biggest out-migration flow is people over the age of 70 and people between the ages of 18 and 22 years old. Your biggest in-migration flows are people roughly 35 to 42 years old, bringing 0 to 9-year-olds with them, okay? But what people forget to look at it here is what's your rate of empty nesting? What proportion of your households have school-age kids in them? That's why we look at that. Only 1/3 of your households have under 18 population. That's about the state average. There is not a school district in this country where households with school-age kids make up a majority. Last one was in Utah about 20 years ago, okay? Other thing, your household size, 2.6. Very crude measurement. Traditional household, mom, dad, whatever the point is, tends to be under 18 population or kids. Now in 2010, your household size was 2.66. It dropped to 2.60. Now 0.06 doesn't sound like a lot until you multiply it by the 8,700 households you have in the district. If your household size had stayed the same, you would have had 400 more people counted in the census, and the majority of them would have been under 18 population. In fact, in the last decade, your under 18 population dropped from 6,400 to 5,700. So you can see, and that's mostly driven by the empty nesting going on, which will continue to go on the next decade. Homeowners, 54 or 35, 54, about 1/3. The good news is over 1/4 of your households are now over the age of 65. You're going to see an increase of empty nesters putting their homes in the market in the next 10 years. The rate and magnitude of your empty nest elderly households downsizing will dictate a large part of your housing market. You can build all you want, but you can't make people move. One of the problems is elderly migration stopped during COVID. It never started back up again, okay? It should be because the peak of the baby boom is now in their late 60s, early 70s. we should be seeing a ton of people downsizing their homes. And the problem is they have no place to go because we never built any elder housing in this country. And what little we did is not diverse enough for the diverse elderly population. Home ownership rate, 84%, mostly owner occupied. You don't have that many apartments here, so you're going to be dependent upon areas that do have lots of apartments for in-migration of young households. Single-person households, 22%. Single and elderly, 11% and rising. Again, reflecting that number of homeowners that will be downsizing over the next 10 years. It's actually a little low by state and regional averages. Now, here's my favorite data from the 2020 census. This is your individual count by grade, okay? In 2020, 5-year-olds, that's your kindergarten, first grade, second, third, fourth. 5 years later in 2025, these under 1-year-olds are now 5 years old. This is your kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And we can do two things here. Look at regular cohort size, and it shows us how much that deficit is. You're going from 300, almost 300 size cohorts down to about 250. So it's about 50 students a year. And also you can look for variations. You got a big cohort here in Pendleton, 117, 146, 110. This one goes into kindergarten, all booming growth. Well, maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's just a big cohort coming in, which it is. And when it dropped back the next year, you then realize that. That way you're not overgeneralizing year-to-year abnormalities in the trend for actual growth or decline, okay? We see Maple Ridge, remarkably consistent, large cohort coming in the east. We identify these things when we're building our migration models, okay? What we do also, we call a market share. We'll take the individual count, and it is a district level. So in 2020, you had 316 first graders, and that was 98% size of the population count. If you go up 102, 108, 115, 17, 18, that's in migration or in transfers. That's how we can measure that, by cohort, okay? And since we've got the great transfer data to look at, we can match up what's transfer, what is in migration. And as you can see, it keeps going up along the line. And this year, wow, 145, 144, great numbers, really increasing. But the problem is the base is so much smaller. So yeah, 144% of this number, you know, 340, only about 34 students bigger, even though it's, you know, a 50 percentage point increase. Again, measuring with the impact of these small cohorts, you need literally more and more people moving in or transferring in to make up for that deficit, okay? And that's been what's saving you. Now, this is a pop forecast. This is for the district. There's one in your report from each one of the attendance areas. There's two ways to read this. You can follow an age group over time. This is roughly your elementary, 489, 1690, 1730, 1730. Or follow an age cohort from time. 0 to 4 becomes 5 to 9, then to 14, 15 to 19. So you see here the measured in migration from those two cohorts, roughly about 340. So across the bottom here is median age going up, just like most every other area of the country because of the aging baby boom. The births drop a little bit, not because of drop in the fertility rate, but you have fewer women in prime childbearing age. Death goes up, not because of a disease or COVID, but again, of aging population. You just got more people in prime dying age. I know we gotta find a better term than that, but I just refer to prime dying age as anybody over the age of 65, but now that I'm 70, it's anybody over the age of 85. So, natural increase, excess of births over deaths, number goes negative. It's not birth rates, it's not foreign immigration. The demographic trend of the next 20 years is the loss of natural increase, which has been the backbone of U.S. population growth for 250 years. We already, even after COVID, we have 5 states and 900 counties, 15 of them here in Indiana, with more deaths than births. We're picking up about 2 states and about 100 counties a year, okay? This will be the dominant demographic trend until at least 2040. It's real hard for your population to grow when you got more deaths than births. Very difficult. Net migration, remarkably consistent, 5 4. That's net migration. Again, what's the number of mostly 25 to 40s and 0 to 9s moving in, minus 18 to 22 and over 70 moving out. So you have net in migration. But that's one reason why your population growth is slowing down. It's slowing down not because of changing migrations, because you'll lose a natural increase. And that's, again, a battle that many, many localities are dealing with and will continue to deal with over the next 15 years. This is what drives the enrollment forecast. And the analogy I use here is a bucket of water. If I've got a bucket of water and I'm pouring water in the top and there's a hole in the bottom, as long as I'm pouring in faster than it's running out the bottom, level will rise. But if for some reason the hole in the bottom gets bigger and it's running out faster than pouring in, even if I pour in the same rate, level will drop. Enrollment works the same way. What's the size of the kindergarten and first grade cohorts coming in versus the size of the 12th grade cohorts going out, okay? And you'll see here, for total K-12, rather modest increases until 2032. Why does it stop? We start seeing really big 12th grade cohorts going out. I point out to people when I do these presentations, every student in the district, this is this year's enrollment, 3rd grade and higher today, is out of your school district by 2035 at the end of these forecasts. This cohort here, 2031 first graders, haven't even been born yet. Where are they going to come from? So the big thing here is looking at this wave going through your into your high school, which is why the K-6 starts seeing small drops in the first 5 years, because that wave is coming out of your 6th grade going in the middle school. Goes in the middle, then goes into high school, okay? But once that wave is out of the elementaries, you pretty much stay steady. We forecast, given our assumptions, the building rate and the sales rate, the migration rates, your enrollment should have a modest, maybe 100 student increase, about 10 students a year on average over the next 10 years. As I say that, 75% of the school districts in the state of Indiana will lose enrollment over the next 10 years. Probably 80% nationwide, because births have been dropping in this country for 18 years and continue to drop. The 2008 cohort are the ones graduating high school right now. And we've got the very small 2020 cohorts coming in. You're going to have more graduating seniors than you have freshmen or kindergartners coming in, not just here, but all of the surrounding communities that send migrants into here. Smaller household size, fewer number of kids, okay? No one escapes this trend. It doesn't matter if you've got lots of land to develop. Hamilton Southeast is going through it, Westfield, Carmel, Noblesville, everybody's going through this right now because there's just fewer kids per household. The fact that you're going to be going up slightly over the next 10 years, one reason is you're farther out from, and cheaper land out here, by the way, too, than anything in Hamilton County. It's going to come out I-69. So you're kind of like the next wave. So you're actually in a really good position geographically as well as demographically to continue this. But you will be the outlier over the next 10 years, because most of your neighboring districts will not be as fortunate. I did that in 20 minutes. That's good for me.
Thank you, Dr. McKibben. And do any board members have any questions?
That you can gather that much information in and glean it and then throw it all up in a presentation where the numbers, because the numbers don't lie, math doesn't lie.
Well, it helps, we'd done you before,
Yeah.
5 years ago, something like that. We've done all of your neighbors. I was in Westfield last night. And I think we've done every one of your neighboring districts in the last 3 or 4 years. So, I think 150 Indiana districts. You're familiar with Penn Harris Madison School District? We've been doing them for like 20 years. We go up there every year, go to do evaluations. I'll call up Mark next fall, send me your data, we'll see how we're doing. And we went there and we had forecasted, 3 years into the forecast, 12,248 students. And they had 12,248 students, hit it right on the nose. Worst thing that ever happened to me. Because ever since then, the board's expected the same level of accuracy in all subsequent forecasts. So next year I go up there, I'm off by 9 students. You know, I've known all these board members for years. You just, God, it's a 900% increase in error. We're paying for this? You know? Well, yes, you are actually, you know, but, so you're only as good as your last forecast and no one ever believes you anyway, so. But your district is really unique, and you mentioned, you know, the numbers don't lie. If there's an example of, well, be careful of that and look beneath the numbers and look at all 15, 20 different factors in there, because if you just looked at 2010, 2020 change, you think this place was stagnant. It's not, you know. So I'm going, God, how can you have 300 increase in number of households and only 30 people more? Something's going on here. And it was the group course population and the change in household size. So that's my warning to all school districts. There is no silver bullet variable. You know, never look at just one variable. Make sure you're getting all 15 or 20 of them plus and minus together and really coming up with an informed, compact decision.
I've got a quick question. I know you already went over this, but I just want to make sure I'm looking at this right. For 2035, for 9 through 12, the minus 25 number, it's not because of a decrease in students in K through 6 or even 7 and 8, it's for the high school level, right?
The biggest high school graduating class in God knows how many years will be graduating out that year.
They'll be graduating
They
in
went
34?
out.
Okay,
And 370 are coming in, so that's why it dropped. Go back when this big cohort comes in,
so there'll be freshmen right there in
Yeah.
2031.
that's why you have a 44 increase
Okay.
that year, you know, so. You gotta look at these, and you have a small cohort coming in behind it, there's the negatives, you know, so. That's
Okay.
how you ebbs and flows, and you're always gonna have these variations in cohort sizes, and that gives you a lot of, particularly at high school, is the one that has a dropout rate, you know, the student retention, I guess, determines that. Not really an issue so much in.
Don't have a lot of kindergartners dropping out.
Well, yeah, a lot of kindergartners,
Yeah.
don't go to public
Bad.
school. You know, and you don't have to go to kindergarten,
Right.
you know. I didn't go to kindergarten. Look how I turned out. That wasn't supposed to be a joke, folks. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you very much for coming.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. Checks in the mail.
Right. Got a story on that, too. I heard there's a football game of note tomorrow night, is there?
There it is.
Some team from around here is playing in a big game in Georgia. I don't know, something about that. I was just thinking, when you had the moment of silence, how many people were thinking about the IU game tomorrow, so. But, do us heart good, but, now being a good old Hoosier boy down in Alabama, I'm loving this. So, I'm having the time of my life in South Alabama, so.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to construction update. Dr. Hall?
Thank you, President Thompson. I just wanted to give the board a quick update on the construction project that we have going on at the high school. So I know that many of you, well, you all received an email from me yesterday, and if you haven't reviewed it, I'm going to go over some of that, but I just want to let you know, we made, I would say, substantial progress in the last 24 hours after that went out. So, we did make pick up some ground, but we still have some issues that we need to address, so I just want to make sure you know where we stand, so. So the roofs at East and the high school are both done, which I've told you, and they've well been certified warranty, so that's finished. We do have an issue with the high school gym floor that Fredericks has acknowledged. They created that damage. We have a written notification that they're going to cover the cost of resanding, refinishing that gym floor this summer. The renovation at the front office space is done. All of the new exterior doors are in place, but in the last, I'd say, well, since August, we've been battling issues with hardware and glass. And so that's some of the same issues we're still dealing with. So just to let you know, because we have not met since the last time I went through so we had a board meeting in early December, and then on December 8th, we had a walkthrough. And during that walkthrough, we had observed that there were several pieces of glass in the doors that were not properly labeled. They did not, which is required by the contract and building code for that specific type of glass that has to be used for the type of glass that we purchased for the project. And then we found several panels of that did not have the right markings on them. In addition to that, we found out that the wrong type of glass had been installed in the interior set of doors out by the auditorium. So it was actually an insulated type of glass, but it did not match any of the other glass that was down there. It had a greenish tint to it. And so the subcontractor, Delaware Glass, has agreed to replace all those pieces of glass that have been identified. So those have been ordered, and we're waiting for those. Then on December 19th, we did there was a walkthrough that I did not participate in, but it was done by our architects. And then the architect firm felt like it was time to bring in a third-party company, so they brought in a gentleman named Richard Dye from Algerin, which is a third-party company that specializes in safety and security and campus access control systems, because they wanted their opinion on the hardware installation of our doors. And at that point, what they did is they've asked, as a result of that, they've asked to make sure that our general contractor, Fredericks, subcontractor, Delaware Glass, verify that all the doors have the proper screws and the plates and latches that are missing installed. They want to make sure that all of our doors, their back checks are correct, because we have some of the doors that don't open. They have difficulty opening when they reach a certain degree. We found doors that weren't latching correctly because the pressure had not been adjusted properly on the latches, so when they would open, they would not shut and latch properly. Those have been remedied as of last night, but we had some of those going on. So anyways, we have several different parts of hardware that they're still working through, and our architects have continued to reach out to our general contractors, subcontractors. But as of this afternoon, there had not, through any email chains I've seen, there's been no timeline that's been provided by the general contractor or the subcontractors that is when any of those hardware issues will be fixed. So they're trying to schedule a walkthrough next week. And subcontractors have identified days they can come. I've not seen a response from the general contractors yet as of this afternoon as to when they can walk through and remedy these hardware issues. So, but in the last 24 hours, I can tell you that the doors that we identified yesterday that needed some work to make sure they were secure, that was all taken care of. So the building is safe. We just have some hardware issues in terms of opening and closing, and we have some, certainly have some glass that still needs to be replaced. So, answer any questions if you have them, but it's just an ongoing, long process.
Anybody have anything? No? Okay, we'll move on to 4.1, approval of the minutes of a regular meeting of December the 4th of 2025. Has everyone had an opportunity to read through that? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that that be approved. Minutes for the December 4th meeting. Penny?
Anna Blake?
Yes.
Buck Evans?
Yes?
Kevin Ginder?
Yes.
Mike Hanna?
Yes.
Bill Hutton?
Yes.
John Lord?
Yes.
Mark Thompson?
Yes. Moving on to 4.2, approval of accounts payable vouchers I think everyone has probably had those and looked through them. It was a pretty large number this
Yeah,
time.
it was.
Okay,
I make a motion that we approve the vouchers as presented to us.
I will second that.
okay, moved and seconded that the account payable vouchers be approved. Any discussion? Call for a question.
Okay. Anna Blake? Yes. Buck Evans?
Yes.
Kevin Gendry?
Yes. Yes, sorry.
Mike Hanna?
Yes.
Bill Hutton?
Yes.
John Lord?
Yes.
Mark Thompson?
Yes. Moving on to the consent items, we usually take these 5-1 through 5-3 tonight together. Is there any reason not to?
Through
Anybody?
5-7.
You want to do 5-1 through 5-7?
5-7. I
Would
didn't
do
scroll, I'm sorry, I didn't scroll all the way down. It would actually be 5.1 through 5.7. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So be it.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded, we take 5.1 through 5.7 and vote on them together. Penny, question?
Anna Blake? Yes. Buck Evans?
Yes.
Kevin Gendry?
Yeah.
Mike Hanna?
Yes.
Bill Hutton?
Yes.
John Lord?
Yes.
Mark Thompson?
Yes.
Mark, you might acknowledge those who made some donations.
On the donations?
Yeah.
Do you want me to read it?
5.7.
I can read it.
Yes.
Kiwanis Club donated $1,000 to Ryan Plovic at the middle school athletic director. Special thanks to the Kiwanis, appreciate it.
There was an East donation also.
AMVets.
And vets.
Did
AMVets.
East Maple,
Yeah, they
East
did.
Elementary, Maple Ridge, and then Kiwanis Club donated to East Elementary Nutrition Services. And then Neil and Teresa Armstrong, Nutrition Services, and then AMVets, I think just all general students for nutrition, like all the schools.
And a sincere thanks for those organizations and persons that have donated. It's very generous of them, we appreciate it. Move on to 6.1, contract approval. Mr. McCarty.
Thank you, President Thompson. Tonight, the administration is requesting approval of two contracts. One of them for Edmentum, which are licensing fees for some curriculum materials, and East Central Educational Service Center for some professional development.
We hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the contract approval. Is there any discussion on this from anyone?
I just have a question.
Okay,
Just a
question.
clarification. So when I see this brief, it says on the, I'm sorry, let me go back. It's the, well, let me see, which one is it? Oh, Exact Path Diagnostic. It says brief cost description, and it says 5,900 plus change for 150 seats. What's 150 seats? Does that mean members, people?
150
Students.
Could have accounts, a seat is an account.
Okay.
So 150 students can have accounts in that. This has come from the formative assessment grant. And it gives us opportunity to target a few students that maybe like right at the bubble, or need a little extra support.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Call for the question.
Anna Blake?
Yes.
Buck Evans?
Yes.
Kevin Gendry?
Yes.
Mike Hanna?
Yes.
Bill Hutton?
Yes.
John Lord?
Yes.
Mark Thompson?
Yes. Moving on to 6.2, property tax collection updates. Mr. McCarty.
Thank you, President Thompson. You attached in the board docs are two attachments. The first attachment, it reflects our property tax collected along with our license excise, financial institution tax, and commercial vehicle excise tax. So some good news to report on the property tax. The first sheet indicates that we have collected 98% of what we were certified to collect. So if you take a look at the numbers on the second sheet, where we track the collection percentage by year, this is by far and away the highest percentage we've collected since we've had the property tax reform. So I am quite surprised by that, by the numbers that the state had projected. I have confirmed from Mrs. Myers that these are the actual amounts that were deposited in the bank. The certified were what DLGF sent us at the beginning of the year, so we'll consider ourselves lucky in that regard and move on down the road. So, like I say, part of it, as you can see in the second sheet, the assessed value of the corporation, is at 1.61 versus, 900 million. So, it's a 50% jump. So our rate has stayed consistent and our assessed value has gone up, but we've had the things with fire territories that are taking, their cut as well. So, 98% is, like I say, that is very, very good to see. The license excise, certainly is a much, much smaller amount, and, we collected 94% of that, and then, financial institution is 6,000, and the commercial vehicle excise is in the $36,000 range. So those always come twice a year with the property tax, but certainly as a percentage of what the property tax itself is, those are a lot smaller. So glad to be able to share some good news.
Any questions for? Okay,
And on your agenda, it says action, but there's nothing to it.
we don't need to
Just
vote on it.
Just information.
Okay, information only. Okay, we'll move on to 7.1, communication from the public. We had one person, and it's a little later than normal, I guess. Mr. McNamara.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, it's almost past my bedtime. I hope my kids are in bed already. So, it used to be you had to give your name and your address and all that. Do you still do that?
Just
Okay.
your bank account.
I'm Ken McNamara. I live at 307 Old State Road, 132 West in Pendleton. I have 2 elementary students in the school system, and I'm very pleased with the education they're getting, considering how difficult the 2 of them are. I've learned a new respect for parents. I thought it was easy. It's not. I also have I have a granddaughter that's in the school system. I'm very pleased with her education. So I'm here tonight just to talk briefly about the Wilbur Wright Birthplace Museum. The Wilbur Wright, the man that was partly responsible for the single most important event in the 20th century, was born 40 minutes from here. Well, 40 minutes at 55 miles an hour. What I'd like to talk about is the Wright brothers and STEM. If you're an educator, you know what STEM is, so I won't belabor that point. But the Wright brothers, who taught us how to fly and invented the airplane, everybody asks how. There are more books and more things written about the Wright brothers and how they did it than would hold, like, 160 pages, double column pages. Now, here's the thing that I don't think has been noticed before. They applied STEM before STEM was cool. Every part of STEM, they studied all the available science about flight. They used the technology available to build and evaluate their models. They applied engineering methods to define the problem of flight and work through solutions. And they used math to evaluate and improve their airplanes. From day one, the first time they went to Kitty Hawk, they knew how that airplane should behave, and it didn't. But they'd done the math. Now, why is that important? Because every student should visit the Wright brothers' birthplace, or Wilbur Wright's birthplace. And when they go there, they'll see a full-size model of the Kitty Hawk replica, or flyer, and they'll see the wind tunnel. The wind tunnel, which was the difference between, until the wind tunnel, the Wright brothers were copying everybody else. When they made the wind tunnel and they understood how to make the shapes to put on an airplane, they became the first true aeronautical engineers. Now, all this is important because right now the birthplace is putting a Lilly grant application together to provide free access to all students, and primarily right now 5th grade students, and do a STEM course each time we do it. And we'd like your support for that. Thank you very much. 25 seconds, okay.
Go ahead and fill it. Go ahead. Keep going.
Well, I did have a little something to pass out.
Okay.
Well, no, I'll start with you because I did them all the rest of us. This is the Wilbur Wright birthplace.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
What are the current hours at the museum over there?
Right now, if they call, they can get in. It's closed, but every time somebody shows up, typically it's 10 to 5.
Thank you.
And we're not open on Sunday.
Thank you.
Would you like some?
Glad to hand them out.
Yes.
And we're not open on Sunday because the Wright brothers never worked on Sunday. Although we may have to renege on that. Because lots of people like to come on Sunday. It's a gem of a museum. I've only been on the board about a year, but the Wright brothers can teach us so much. You know, it's like history. What's it good for? Well, the Wright brothers could argue constructively. If you walk past their bicycle shop, you'd think you had to call the cops. They were going to sound like they were at each other's throats. But they never took it personally. And they always sought the truth in their argument. And stop and think for a minute. If they hadn't done that, they would have never invented the airplane. And that's just one of 7 different skills they have. So.
Thank you very much for coming and letting us know and these, and it's one place I haven't been yet right around here, and plan on making it.
You'd really enjoy it, you really would. So the object of the Lilly grant is to provide free access to students. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You'll enjoy it. I've been there.
Moving on to 7.2, communications from the superintendent, Dr. Hall.
First, I just want to thank John, outgoing president. Had a really good year and very smooth operation, and just looking forward to working with Mark and the new officer group the next year. So, and then the last thing I want to say just to the group and to all of you, I'll post Dr. McKibben's full report on the website for our public to view. It'll be under the tab on our website called SMCSC Growth. And so the past report we had and forecast is on there, and so we'll replace it with the new one now that's been presented, so our public can look at that. And then we also update, we'll update our count numbers so people can see what our current enrollments are. Once we have count day on February 1st, we'll update that so that people can see how that corresponds to the demographics. So our public can see when they have questions about space in our buildings and our enrollment projections and that type of thing. So that's all I have.
A question for you on the committee appointments. Will that be passed down to those people that are on those committees at the schools?
Yeah, we'll send it, Mrs. Kellermeyer will send those out
Okay.
to the school tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have a question for Dr. Hall? Okay, we'll move on to 7.3, communications from the Board of School Trustees. Mrs. Blake.
I don't have anything.
Been quiet.
Well, I'd like to thank John for leading us this past year. You did a great job, and I'm sure we're going to be in good hands with Mark over there, but you're very conscientious about what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John?
Nope.
Look forward to a good year. Here, get it one more time.
Okay, so we're doing, then we have to vote to adjourn.
Make a motion, we
Yeah.
adjourn.
Second?
Moved and seconded to adjourn.
On
Any-
Blake? Yes. Buck Evans?
Yes.
Kevin Gender?
Yes.
Mike Handa?
Yes.
Bill Hud?
Yes.
Excuse me. John Lord,
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, we're adjourned.
And we need to roll right into this Board of Finance meeting before we go
Right.
to executive session.
Okay.
So that's Mr. McCarty. So,
Okay.
just a quick
You
technicality.
don't have to leave. You can't.
Finance is always clear, everyone out.
9.1.
Everybody always
Should be
leaves
really
during
quick.
finance.
What we were talking about before the meeting,
Yes,
150 grand a year, they can't find anybody.
yeah.
See you, Dick.
So, Mr. McCarty for 9.1.
Okay. The Board of Finance, which is made up of board members under Indiana Code, is required to meet annually after the first Monday in January and on or before the last day in January. At the annual meeting, the board elects from the board's membership a president and a secretary for the Board of Finance. And typically, it's the same president and secretary as the board itself. The Board of Finance shall review the written reports from the corporation treasurer. The report summarizes the school district's investments and interest earned during the 2025 calendar year. The Board of Finance shall also review a report on the financial condition of the school corporation. The fiscal and qualitative indicators determined by the Fiscal and Qualitative Indicators Committee will be used in this report. Superintendent recommends that the board elect the president and the secretary for the board
So you guys need to do that first.
yeah,
Somebody
prior
will need to
prior
make a
to reviewing the
recommendation.
reports.
Okay. And do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded that Penny is the, gotta go back to this again.
No,
No.
no, you're
No.
supposed to pick.
So we would pick somebody
Yourself
from our,
and
then the secretary.
So in the past, it's been like the board president and the
Okay.
secretary.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so I guess that's me then. Okay.
so I'll make a motion that the current board president and secretary, so Mark and Kevin, take these positions.
Second?
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Question?
Anna Blake? Yes. Buck Evans?
Yes.
Kevin Ginder?
Yes.
Mike Hanna?
Yes.
Bill Hutton?
Yes.
John Lord?
Yes.
Mark Thompson?
Yes. 9.2 would be review of the treasurer's report for 2025. Mrs. Myers?
You all have that in your packets. This year, the interest rates were down. Interest rates were down for the year, and our cash balances were down also. So for the end of the year, we had interest earning of $662,368.80. Currently, the interest rates with Trust Indiana are just above 3%, which is almost 2% less than it was last year, so.
There's no action, it's just information.
Any,
If you have questions.
any discussion or questions for Penny?
No. Thank you for getting these accounts and working with them, and you and Ken
Yes.
getting some
very
money for
much
us.
so.
We appreciate that you're doing the best you can
And
with
we
it.
do work with the current local banks.
Sure.
And talk with them and try to get the best rates that we can.
Absolutely you do. Yeah.
Also, so, and, I mean, we're fortunate that, right now, we're with First Merchants, and we've been with them for a long time. And they have really been good to us. I have to praise them for that.
Good.
Good, that's good. Okay, we'll move on to 9.3, review of report on the financial condition. Mr. McCarty?
Thank you, President Thompson. This report is the report that we typically attach with this financial condition report. The report was actually developed as a result of Gary Community Schools and Muncie Community Schools running into extreme financial distress. So they DUAB, which is the Distressed Unit Appeals Board, tried to develop reports that would kind of be a leading indicator for financial distress. So they have tried to pick out some indicators that would indicate potential problems. but it's also useful information as well. So, you know, we can go through the report, you know, the assessed value, which, you know, that one is straight off the report that we had with the property tax collection, you know, 1.5 billion. As I said, that one is certainly trending in the right direction. You know, estimated population, like I say, I'm not gonna try to outdo Dr. McGibbons on the demographics, but, you know, certainly this gives you a 10-year demographics, and we certainly, when we do the budget, we go into a little bit deeper dive, but, you know, it's fairly consistent on that, so not a lot there. The demographics that we have on the second page of the report highlights the free and reduced as well as the special education, and the certainly of note, the English language learners, which, you know, if you look back 10 years ago, the report probably doesn't do as good a job as actually showing the true growth in English language learners. Certainly, that's been a growth area for our school over the past 10 years. So, fund balance, which you know, it's got 10 different funds on there. You know, when we borrowed, that debt fund will go up a little bit, and then you know, there's self-insurance, there's all kinds of funds. And the interesting thing with this report, on this link, you can pull this report for any school district in the state. So, you know, if you want to see, hey, what's the demographics or what's the free and reduced look of South Madison versus any other district in the state, you can kind of compare and contrast there as well. So, here we have the annual surplus and deficit, and, you know, obviously you don't want to see, you know, huge surplus or huge deficit. You know, we're not really a business in the process of trying to, you know, bank big profits. We want to try to be close to break even on that. So fund balance is a percentage of expenditures, and I think the 24 bump was probably when we pulled in the construction loan in that fund. So, you know, they lump all cash in there, so that's kind of what, I think what kind of drove the bump there. You know, the revenue by type, obviously the state funding that we get in the blue area is the biggest chunk of funding that we have. The red area, the local tax revenue, is the revenue that we discussed with the property tax, the license excise, commercial vehicle excise, and financial institution tax. You know, operating referendums holding steady at 0, so you know, that's not applicable, obviously, for us. So, like I say, this is pretty much general information. You know, certainly as we do the budget, we go into a lot more specific information. But like I say, this is a requirement by the state law, so this is kind of one that's consistent with what everyone in the state has. So that's, I think, why it's kind of good for us to benchmark on that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for him?
Thank you for your work on this.
Well,
It
thank
is
you.
amazing, the millions of dollars
Yeah.
that you work with to keep straight, you guys. Great job.
We'll move on to 10.1, adjournment of the Board of Finance meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a second?
Second.
Second? Okay. Any discussion at all? Penny?
Honor
Yes.
O'Kevin?
Yes.
Kevin Kinder?
Yeah.
Mike Hannah?
Yes.
Bill Hutton?
Yes.
John Boyd?
Yes.
Mark Thompson?
Yes. And we'll now enter into 11.1, the executive session, in about 2 minutes.
Let me hit the